Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and on this channel I talk about my life in Brisbane and also my travels. I hope you enjoyed the clips that I showed you of my trip in Melbourne. Melbourne is my favorite city to visit, and I was there for a whirlwind trip, but that didn't stop me from enjoying some of my favorite places like Din Tai Fung, and also doing some perfume browsing. I had intended to purchase a perfume, but by the time I decided which one I wanted, which was the Cashmere, I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, the size that I wanted, which was the 50ml, was no longer available. Overall, I had a really good time. I caught up with a friend. I managed to stop by Brunetti, which is also on my list of places to go to whenever I'm in Melbourne. I was there in the winter, so it was actually quite cold, and it was also raining a bit, sort of intermittently. So cold and wet and sometimes a little bit windy. Probably not the best weather, but I still tried to enjoy myself. Melbourne has many places to eat, and I chose a hotel which was close to the mall because I knew that there would be cafes and restaurants, many of them in that area, and that turned out to be super convenient. I had intended to also have breakfast at a different hotel. I didn't end up wanting to have breakfast where I was staying at the Volco Melbourne, but that didn't materialize. I ended up just wandering around and thinking, well, if I wake up early enough on the next day, there should be places around me because Melbourne CBD should be full of breakfast places. But I actually didn't end up finding a place I wanted to sit down at, so I did get a coffee at a cafe near the 7-Eleven. I'd gone there to pick up a Myki card, and then I went for a little walk, sort of tried to stay near the hotel so I wouldn't be late, and ended up getting a breakfast croissant of some sort from this little cafe, a different cafe from where I got coffee, and it was sort of really ordinary. So I guess that was a disappointing experience, but it was partly my own fault because I didn't make a booking. But also what I found is that being in the CBD, the places which I thought would be open early weren't actually open that early. So that was something I had not planned for. So next time, I think if I'm in Melbourne CBD on a weekday morning and I need to go somewhere early, I would choose to have breakfast at the hotel. That's the lesson learned from this trip. Another highlight of my trip was going to the Guerlain counter in David Jones. And I did mention earlier that this experience was actually a little, on the service side, wasn't that great. Like the lady who was at the counter, like she looked like she couldn't wait for me to leave. So that really wasn't a great experience. But I did discover a perfume from the Matiere range, Neroli Autre Noir. So that's something which I tried on my skin and I really loved it. I was smelling it on my skin the whole day. And out of that sort of not so great experience, I found a perfume that I really would like to buy, so I'm looking forward to purchasing that. It's one thing I found with the larger cities, like there's a lot of resting bitch face when it comes to retail staff, and I'm kind of surprised. It's like they either hate their job or they don't need the money, in which case in both scenarios they perhaps really shouldn't be in those kind of roles. I ended up getting takeaway for dinner that night, and it ended up being back at Mama. So we'd gone for Mama for lunch, where I really enjoyed their satay. I've been to Mama in Brisbane a couple of times, but it's been disappointing. Mama was definitely one of the places I had to go to, and I was glad that we were able to get a table for lunch. And then I got mee goreng for takeaway. I think it was all right. I don't think I actually finished it, but I think that was because I also had stopped by Din Tai Fung for Xiao Long Bao in late afternoon. Overall, it was an enjoyable trip. I had been there for a specific purpose, and that purpose was met. So that was the most important part of the trip, and all the other food and the walks that I went on and the drinks that I had, all that was just happy extras. I hope to be back in Melbourne for a longer trip one day, and when that happens, I'll definitely be sharing with you all as well. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing. Would love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye!